Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Tuesday, April the 18th. We do have a 3-game slate for Tuesday, so 3 games today instead of 2, a little bit of a bigger slate, but we got Game 2 of the Hawks and Celtics series, Game 2 of the Knicks and Cavs series, and then we got Game 2 of the Clippers and Suns series. So we're going to go game by game, guys. We're going to give kind of a quick breakdown of this 3-game slate, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Monday night. Obviously, since it is just a 3-game slate tonight, probably going to be a little bit of a quicker video, but we'll still kind of give a quick game-by-game breakdown. Before we do get started with the breakdown, though, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you have never checked out PrizePicks before, PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks, and you can use my promo code Noah. When you sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, they are a player prop site. Very simple, very easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. It's as simple as that. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks. You can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. They do offer a lot of other sports on PrizePicks besides just NBA. You can do MLB, NHL, obviously NFL when it comes around. You got tennis, esports, MMA, boxing. They got everything on PrizePicks. You can mix and match sports. You can make multi-sport entries. It's a lot of fun. You guys should definitely be playing over there. And if you are not signed up for PrizePicks yet, again, use that promo code Noah. When you sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through this 3-game slate for Tuesday night. And let's start off with the first game of the night, the Hawks and the Celtics. So we'll start off on the Boston side. Really good spot here for these Boston guys. We saw Boston put up a good amount of points in game 1 of this series, 112 points. A lot of their main guys played really big minutes. Jason Tatum played 40 minutes. Didn't have the greatest game overall, but obviously in a matchup like this is a spot you definitely expect Tatum to have success. Jaylen Brown played huge minutes, to no surprise, 37 minutes. Very likely that he plays anywhere from like 36 to 40 minutes once again here. And then we did see some guys, some of the guards do really well. Marcus Smart had a really good game, put up 40 Draftkings points in 32 minutes. Derek White had a really good game too. He had 45 DK points in 38 minutes. Again, the matchup here is just so good that I think a lot of these Boston guys do look pretty appealing. Starting off at the top with Tatum and Brown. On a 3-game slate like this, I think these guys are firmly in play. Normally, I don't get excited to roster Tatum or Brown when it's like a full 10, 11, 12-game slate. But obviously with a 3-game slate, you don't have as many options to work with. You look at the other pay-up options on the slate, we have like Kawhi, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Devin Booker. We're going to talk about a lot of these guys later in the video. But I definitely think Tatum and Brown both look really solid here. There's, we've seen on these playoff slates, there's really not much value. It's very hard to build stars and scrubs lineups. It's pretty much like impossible. So anytime you can save a little bit of salary, it's usually always going to be nice. So I think going down from Tatum to Brown is probably the way that I would prefer if I had to choose between the two. I think they're both pretty good plays, though. I think since Tatum, maybe didn't have the greatest game in game 1 of this series, maybe he gets a little bit less ownership today. But again, both these guys look very solid. And then the guards from Boston, I don't mind going to Marcus Smart or Derek White here. Again, these guys are going to play pretty big minutes. Boston ran a really tight rotation. They're going to run a tight rotation throughout the playoffs. Marcus Smart is not a guy that I really, ever consider a super high upside play. Rarely does Smart go out there and just break the slate. But when he's playing, 30-plus minutes, he can easily pay off a $5,900 salary. So I think Smart's a solid guard play in the mid-range. I think Derek White's a very solid guard play in the mid-range as well. He's been playing big minutes lately. In the games he's been healthy. Price tag at $5,300 is very reasonable. I definitely think Derek White looks really solid here. Now the bigs from Boston, Horford and Robert Williams, I'm not as excited about. Horford did play 38 minutes. Horford, we haven't seen like a consistent ceiling from him. He probably gives you a solid floor here, but at $5,500, where he's priced at, you kind of need him to put up like 35, 40 DK points to be a guy that you want to have in GPPs. I just don't know if Horford consistently has that upside. I think I'd rather go to like White or Smart, those guys that are priced around him. Even though he did play 38 minutes in game 1, I'm not super excited about Horford. And then we did see Robert Williams come off the bench, play 22 minutes. Robert Williams is a really good permanent producer, and we've seen lately, in the games he's played, he's been healthy. He did get 31 minutes against Toronto, then he played 25 against them, and then obviously in game 1 of this series played 22. Since he is coming off the bench, I don't think he's going to play like huge minutes, but even 22, 24 minutes, Robert Williams can definitely pay off a $4,900 salary. He's again a good permanent producer. There's really no value on these playoff slates, so I think Robert Williams, even coming off the bench, does look like a pretty good value here. I don't think there's anything else, though, that I'm super interested in from Boston. Malcolm Brogdon didn't have the greatest game, only played 21 minutes. I'd expect a little bit of a better performance from him here. But again, this Boston team, they do have guys they're going to play a ton. Like, they're going to play Smart, they're going to play White a ton, they're going to play Tatum and Brown a ton. So how many minutes can Brogdon really play on a nightly basis? 21 kind of feels like a floor for him. I feel like that's like, worst case scenario is 21 minutes. I think most nights he gets like 26, 28. He's fine, but not as excited about Brogdon. That's really it, though, for the Celtics. Let's go ahead and move on to the other side of this game now with Atlanta. Atlanta, they're a tough team to really want to roster too heavily today. It's not the greatest matchup against Boston. We didn't see many guys from Atlanta do very well in Game 1. Trae Young was really disappointing, had a poor shooting game. Boston's just a good defensive team. It's going to be hard for Trae Young to consistently put up big games in this series just because, of how good a defensive team Boston is. But we do know that Trae Young has that upside in him, and any night he can go out there and put up, 25, 30 points and 10, 15 assists. Like, he can put up 50-plus Draftkings points any night. I do expect his ownership to be the lowest of, like, all the studs today. When you talk about, like, all the guys 9K and above, I definitely think Trae Young will be the lowest owned. So that makes him somewhat of an interesting GBP play. DeJounte Murray did have a pretty good game in Game 1 of this series. He put up 48 DK points, played 36 minutes. We know he's going to play big minutes. Again, I don't think the matchup's that great for DeJounte Murray. At 8K, he's fine, but I'm not, like, super excited to roster him. And then the rest of these Atlanta guys, Clint Capella, at 5,800, he feels priced about where he should be. The matchup against Boston's really tough. Capella's minutes have not been that high lately. Last game played just 27 minutes. At most, he's going to play like 30 minutes unless like Onyeka Okongwu gets in foul trouble or something. So Capella's ceiling is just not that high because he's just not getting enough minutes to really, put up a big ceiling game. Bogdan coming off the bench, Saddiq Bey coming off the bench. These are guys you could take some shots on in GBPs. We did see Bogdan get extended minutes in Game 1. He did play 28 minutes. He's only 4,800. I don't mind him as a GBP value. Saddiq Bey played 24 minutes. Wasn't great, but again, he's pretty locked into this rotation and is going to play 24, 25 minutes most nights. At 4,500, a playable value. And then John Collins, he's going to start. Minutes are pretty secure for him. Most nights he's going to play about 25 to 30 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on how other guys are playing. Maybe Bogdan gets hot off the bench and that cuts into John Collins. Maybe Saddiq Bey gets hot off the bench and that could cut into John Collins' minutes as well. But I think most nights you're going to get 25 to 30 minutes from Collins. He is only 4,600. Value's pretty thin here. I don't mind going to Collins as a cheap option today if you are looking for a value play below 5K. But that's really it for Atlanta. I don't see anything else here that I really want to go to. DeAndre Hunter is your typical plays 30 minutes, probably gives you like 25 DraftKings points type of play. He's playable at 4,500, but a guy that just doesn't really have much of a ceiling. Maybe you could go there like in cash games or something if he projects well, but for GBPs, I feel like his upside's pretty minimal. So that'll do it for this game. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Knicks and the Cavs. So start off on the Cleveland side. We saw Cleveland run a super, super tight rotation in Game 1 of the series. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and I believe who else? I think it was just those three. Garland, Mitchell, and Allen all played over 40 minutes. Evan Mobley played close to 40 minutes. He played 38 minutes. You're going to see really big minutes for these Cavs guys. The main four guys, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen. Really big minutes for those four. Mitchell was great in Game 1 of this series, had a huge game, 66 DraftKings points, played 44 minutes, took 30 shots. He's been super aggressive offensively as of late. Obviously last game and to close out the regular season, he was taking a ton of shots on a nightly basis. He was playing huge minutes. Look, I think Mitchell, he's not a guy that I really ever get excited to pay up for, but he's clearly just playing at an elite level right now. He's just been on another level. The usage has been through the roof, so I'm fine with Donovan Mitchell even at 9,200. I still think, like Kevin Durant we're going to talk about, Kawhi Leonard we're going to talk about. I still think those guys look a little bit better, but I don't mind going to Mitchell here as a pay-up option. I think Darius Garland's very solid as well. I know Garland did not have the best game in Game 1, but the dude played 43 minutes, and if you tell me Darius Garland's going to play 43 minutes again, I would bank on him scoring more than 27 DraftKings points. I mean, that felt like worst case scenario for Garland. So, yeah, if we're getting 40-plus minutes from Garland at 7,400, he's firmly in play. Evan Mobley didn't play as many minutes as Garland and Mitchell, but still got 38 minutes. Wasn't super productive, but again, he's going to play a ton here. I think at 7,100, he's fine. I think I like Garland a little bit more, but I think Mobley's playable as well. And then Jared Allen got over 40 minutes, which was kind of surprising. We haven't seen Allen get those big minutes that like Mobley has, that Garland and Mitchell has. But he did play 43 minutes in game 1, had 38 DK points. The matchup here against the Knicks is not that good. The Knicks have been a really tough defensive team against centers, largely due to Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, a really good defender. But if Allen's going to play 43 minutes again, or even somewhat close to that, I mean, 6,500, he can easily pay off this price tag, even in a tough matchup when he's playing almost 40 minutes. So I'm fine with all those main 4 guys from Cleveland. They're just going to play a ton, regardless of, or barring like foul trouble or something, those guys are going to be out there for close to 40 minutes, if not more. Now, the rest of Cleveland, this is where it gets a bit tricky because, like, I think for the most part, you're just going to see minutes kind of spread out between, like, LeVert, Okoro, Rubio, Osman. LeVert's the guy that I feel best about if I was going to take a shot on one of these Cleveland value plays. He is only 4,300. His price tag has come way down. Obviously, in game 1 of this series, he was not that great. Only played 18 minutes, shot 1 for 7. I would think if he's playing better, he's going to play more than 18 minutes. I would think most nights, LeVert plays like mid-20s minutes. So, again, if I was going to take a shot on a Cleveland value play, I think I would go to LeVert first. Rubio, Osman, the rest of these guys, though, it's hard to get excited about these guys. They're just not playing enough minutes to really be viable. Cedi Osman got like 19 minutes in game 1. Maybe you could take a shot on him in a large field GBP, but if I'm playing anyone from Cleveland, I'm definitely focusing on the 4 main guys, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Jared Allen. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Knicks side. And looking at the Knicks here, they're kind of another team we can expect to run a really tight rotation. Julius Randle, it was his first game back from injury, so he only played 34 minutes. He was clearly a little bit limited. I would think Randle plays more than 34 minutes here after getting a game under his belt. The price tag has come down to 8,600. 8,600 is pretty cheap for Julius Randle. You definitely, you have to look at this slate as a whole. You have to compare him to some of the other studs on this slate. When I don't think he's going to project as well as some of the other guys we're going to talk about later. I don't think he'll project as well as like Donovan Mitchell, but 8,600 for Randle is still pretty cheap. So I definitely think Randle is in play here. Jalen Brunson I do like quite a bit as a mid-range guard option. Brunson only played 30 minutes in game 1, but he was limited by foul trouble. Picked up 2 early fouls, picked up his 3rd foul like halfway through the second quarter. Only played 30 minutes. He definitely would have played probably 40 minutes if he wasn't in foul trouble. We know Brunson is a guy that can handle playing big minutes. We've seen Tibbs play Brunson big minutes in competitive games. Brunson was really good in the second half. He really started to turn things on. I think when you're looking at matchups, the Cavs are not a good matchup overall, but if you're going to attack them, I feel like you can attack them most with guards, if anything. So I think Brunson's probably my favorite play on the Knicks, followed by Randle. And then we definitely have to talk about some of these other guys. So some big news, from the Knicks today is that Josh Hart is doubtful. So with Josh Hart doubtful, not expected to play, I think you're going to see pretty good minutes for like RJ Barrett, for Emmanuel Quickley, for Quentin Grimes. Barrett is not that cheap. He's 6,800. So given where he's priced at, almost 7K, I'm not like in love with Barrett today, but I definitely think his minutes are going to be more secure without Josh Hart. Josh Hart's the guy that can really eat into Barrett's minutes, and if Barrett's not playing well, you could definitely see Hart close over Barrett, but obviously without Hart today, that's not really going to happen. So I think Barrett's minutes become way more secure. I think Emmanuel Quickley probably plays a lot off the bench. He's going to be, kind of the main guy running the second unit, which is normally, Hart's role. Only got 24 minutes in game 1. I think he probably plays more than that here with, obviously with Hart out. So I don't mind going to Quickley at 5,700. I think he's okay. And then Quentin Grimes, I think is a value play, makes some sense. He played 27 minutes in game 1. Should definitely see more than that now that they don't have Josh Hart. Grimes has not been the greatest per minute producer when he's playing with Randle, with Brunson, with all those guys. We saw Grimes have some really big games to end the regular season whenever Randle was out, whenever Brunson was out. Now that those guys are back and healthy, Grimes' ceiling is definitely not as high, but I definitely think not having Hart is a big boost for Quentin Grimes. I think it helps to secure his minutes. And at 4,700 on a slate where we kind of are desperate for value plays, I think Quentin Grimes is firmly in play as a value option. Now, talking about some of the other guys from the Knicks, like maybe Obi Toppin plays a little bit more without Hart. Maybe you see like Miles McBride get into the rotation. McBride's been in the rotation during the regular season, but he wasn't in the playoff rotation. Maybe he gets into the playoff rotation today with no Hart. I guess he's playable at 3K, but I really feel like the Knicks are probably going to keep things pretty tight here. They might just run an 8-man rotation with Brunson, Randle, Barrett, Robinson, Grimes, and then quickly Hartenstein, Toppin off the bench, and those would be the only 8 guys that play. Like the Knicks could definitely do that. They probably will just do that. So that's kind of it for that game. I think that's it for that one. Let's move on to the last game of the night, the Clippers and the Suns. We'll start off on the Suns side, and the Suns, they're another team we saw last game, really tight rotation from them, especially like the main starters got huge minutes. Kevin Durant played like 44 minutes. He actually played 45 minutes. He barely sat. I mean, he almost played the entire game. He sat for like 3 minutes. Given that Kevin Durant played 45 minutes last game, that clearly shows he is 100% healthy right now. The injuries that he suffered this season are behind him, and I'm expecting huge minutes for Kevin Durant once again, especially after the Suns lost game one. I mean, they don't want to lose this game as well. If they lose this game, they're going to be in big trouble. So huge minutes should be in store for Kevin Durant here. 9,300 is a price tag he can easily outperform when he's playing over 40 minutes. So I'm definitely interested in Kevin Durant as a pay-up option. I think he's probably my favorite spend up on the slate. Don't mind Devin Booker either. I feel like Durant gives you a little bit of a higher ceiling. I think Durant's just a better permanent producer overall. Durant, he's going to rebound more. He'll probably get more assists than Booker will, but we know Booker has a big ceiling. We know when his shot's falling, he can put up a huge game. At 8,700, he's firmly in play. Just, I would prefer Durant straight up. And then Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, where they're priced at, neither one of them I'm in love with, but I think Paul at 7,200 looks okay. He did put up 41 DK points, played 39 minutes. He saw really big minutes, and that was good to see. We haven't seen, during the regular season, we didn't really see Chris Paul play like 36, 38 minutes. He would always play like 32, 33, 34. The fact that he played 39 minutes in game one of the series makes me feel pretty confident that he's going to continue to play those big minutes, especially with the Suns losing game one. So I think at 7,200, Chris Paul's a okay mid-range guard option. DeAndre Ayton, on the other hand, is a guy that I'm kind of tough to get excited about. I know the price tags come way down to 6,200, but he just hasn't been that involved in the offense with Durant now on the team. Durant's been a guy that's taken up a lot of usage, and we just haven't seen Ayton as aggressive offensively. We haven't really seen him post many good games since Durant has arrived. I think his ceiling is just not nearly as high now that he's playing with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can also rebound really well, which could takes rebounds away from Ayton. So of the main Suns guys, I think Ayton's definitely my least favorite. And then if we're talking about value plays from Phoenix, I do want to talk about Torrey Craig. So Torrey Craig actually started last game over Josh Okogie, and Torrey Craig played really well. Played 27 minutes, had 31 DraftKings points, shot 9 for 12 from the field, so that's a little bit unsustainable, but Torrey Craig is not like a horrible permanent producer. He's not the best, but he's not the worst either. He's not like, he's not PJ Tucker bad. If Torrey Craig continues to play about 30 minutes a night, at just 4,200, again, on a slate where we really don't have any value, I am totally fine going to Torrey Craig here. I have a feeling he's going to be pretty popular, especially after he did so well last game, but we just don't really have any value plays on this slate, so I think Torrey Craig is firmly in play. I'm not really interested in anyone else on Phoenix, though. Phoenix going to run, they're going to play Durant, Booker, Paul, Ayton, huge minutes, which means just, not a ton of minutes for the rest of these guys, these bench guys, so that'll do it for that side. Let's talk about the Clippers side now before we end this video. So Kawhi Leonard, another guy that just played huge minutes, got 42 minutes in game one of the series. He was amazing, had 55 DK points. Look, without Paul George right now, Kawhi is going to carry this Clippers offense. He's going to do all the heavy lifting. He's going to take a ton of shots. He's going to play huge minutes. I would probably put him behind KD, I think, but Kawhi definitely one of the safest pay-up options, I think. Just his floor is so high right now because he's just going to play so many minutes, and clearly the ceiling is there. I have no issues going to Kawhi Leonard today. The rest of the Clippers, though, I'm not as excited about a lot of these other guys. Westbrook did have a really good game from a fantasy perspective. It was very weird to see him put up 44 DraftKings points while shooting 3 for 19. Kind of crazy that he was able to do that. He had 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Not the greatest game overall from a real-life perspective, but for fantasy, Westbrook did have a good game, putting up 44 DK points. At 7,800, I think Westbrook is priced where he should be. There's definitely some guys that I feel like are a little bit underpriced today. I don't think Westbrook's underpriced. I think his price tag is correct. We also have seen Westbrook at times, minutes kind of be, a little bit, up and down. There's been games where he's not closed. There's been games where he's played like 25, 30 minutes. It was good to see him get 36 minutes in game one. Does he play 36 minutes again? I don't think it's a guarantee, which just makes him a little bit of a riskier option. I'm not as excited about Westbrook here. And then Norman Powell, going to come off the bench, probably play mid-20s minutes, played 23 minutes in game one. He was great to end the regular season. Obviously, in the game one of the series wasn't as good, but I still think Norman Powell at 5,200 is playable. Not a guy that I'm in love with, but I think he's a playable option. Eric Gordon, I think, is going to be a pretty good value play today. He did start. He has been starting since Paul George has been out. Not a guy that really offers a huge ceiling, but did play 32 minutes in game one, shot 7 for 14, 3 for 7 from 3. He's not going to do too much when it comes to rebounds and assists. He's going to have to knock down threes to really get there. But I feel like, the Suns kind of left him open a lot. He was able to knock down some of those threes. we just don't have any value plays. So I think going to Eric Gordon at 4,400 makes plenty of sense. He's going to probably get over 30 minutes here. I think he's firmly in play for value. And then Ivica Zubac's another guy that I want to talk about for value. He played 30 minutes in game one. We've seen Zubac be another guy that, not always does he play good minutes. Like some nights they'll go small. They can play like Batum at the 5. They don't have to play Zubac. But I feel like with DeAndre Ayton, with them going up against DeAndre Ayton, I think that does secure Zubac's minutes for the most part. I think he probably plays like 25 to 30 minutes. And Zubac is a pretty good permanent producer. He's a guy that normally is going to average around a fantasy point per minute. And if he plays 30 minutes, pretty likely that he's going to be able to pay off a 5K price tag. I don't think the minutes are guaranteed for Zubac, but on a slate where we don't have much value, I'm fine going to Zubac here for a value play as well. And that's really it for the Clippers. I don't think anything else looks that great here. Marcus Morris, Plumlee, these guys, you're just throwing darts if you're playing any of these guys. So I think that does it for that game, guys, and I think that does it for this little 3-game Tuesday night slate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching as always. Make sure you hit that like button down below. If you guys did enjoy, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And be sure to go check out Prize Picks as well, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for Prize Picks. You can use my promo code NOAH when you sign up. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. Be sure to check out Prize Picks. Use that code when you sign up, and be sure to get your deposit bonus. But that's all that I got for this Tuesday slate. Wish you guys the best of luck on this one. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully, we can all win some money tonight, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.